Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today I'm going to be making a recipe that several of you sent to me via social media. Thank you so much. I learn about so many cool recipes and videos and so on and so forth from all of you beautiful lovelies. So thank you so much for getting in touch with me. I'm shouting out Christy today from Facebook who sent me this recipe. It looks like an old one and it looks to be a recipe from Hard Times, and it is for egg gravy. It consists of just a handful of ingredients, and I think is a classic example of how you can take just a few simple things, stretch it out, and feed a bunch of people. Fill some bellies with something tasty, with little bits that you probably have in your pantry, and by the sounds of it, it sounds delicious. So we're gonna be making some egg gravy, and from my understanding, it's often served on bread, toast, and of course, biscuits. So why not make some quick, easy biscuits to go along with our gravy? I have made biscuits before. I did this really great recipe where you don't use any measurements. You just kind of use your hands for measurements, which is great. The biscuits were fabulous. I've also tried biscuits from these culinary mavens, these matriarchs. Edna Lewis, highly recommend this book. The oven interrupts me yet again. This book, The Taste of Country Cooking by Edna Lewis, a wonderfully, beautifully written book that focuses on foods from the South, but written in a way that is seasonal and just lovely. And this book, Gullah Geechee Home Cooking by Emily Meggett, is a fantastic book as well. Sadly, Miss Meggett has recently passed, but her legacy and her recipes live on. And while both of these recipes are phenomenal for biscuits, I thought, why not try the recipe on the back of the white lily flour bag? Now, in my experience, many of the recipes that are included on the back of boxes, on the back of bags, are fantastic. They're often foolproof, and there's a reason why they put them on the back of the product. So this flour is very popular in the South, and this is the self-rising flour, so it includes some baking powder and some salt already in there, so you don't need to add anything to it. So let's go ahead and get started. So here's White Lily light and fluffy biscuits. Right there, there's the recipe, and it contains only 4 ingredients. So simple, so easy. Behind me, as you heard earlier, my oven is preheating at 475 degrees, quite hot. So 2 cups of the self-rising flour. Now, if you don't have self-rising flour, you can make your own self-rising flour. You can Google it, but basically you'll be adding baking powder and a bit of salt. So today we're going to be using shortening. That's what's listed on the recipe, but I've seen other recipes that use bread, and I think what's most traditional and what I can imagine what was used in the days was lard, right? That's what you had. You rendered from cooking, and bacon fat I think would be wonderful too. Kind of strong flavor though. Now what we're doing is cutting the shortening into little pea-sized bits using a couple of butter knives. So we've got our flour with our shortening cut in. Now we're going to add our buttermilk. Now buttermilk was traditionally what was left over after you churned butter. That watery milk, that was the buttermilk. But these days, buttermilk is most often cultured, meaning a culture, kind of like yogurt, is added to milk, which acidifies it, but it also thickens it. And that's what's reacting with the baking powder and the flour to give us our leavening. So add that all in and slowly incorporate that to form a dough. Using a fork to kind of lightly mix. We don't want to over mix it too much. We don't want to get a tough dough. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and scrape this out onto my bench top here. And just ever so gently and tenderly work this into a mass, a dough mass. So fast this bread comes together. Okay, so that looks good. Now we're just going to press this out into about 3/4 of an inch or an inch. You could roll it out too. We could do that, make it a little faster. Now we're going to roll into a 7-inch circle. That's about 3/4 to an inch thick. Yo, 7 inches. Nice. Take a biscuit cutter 2 inches, and we're going to cut them and place them 1 inch apart on the baking tray. So I've been told not to twist the biscuit, just to go straight down. Oh, I forgot to flour it. Whew, that was close. Oh my gosh, look how stinking adorable. Now I'm placing it on my baking pan like that. Hey, I'm at least not wearing a dark colored shirt for once while I'm baking. Good job. Oh, these are so cute. That sound. They already sound fluffy. Okay, now don't let this biscuit dough go to waste. We're going to ball that up and reshape them into more biscuits. Oh my gosh, these are so stinking adorable. Alrighty, there are my biscuits. How gorgeous do they look already? We're gonna pop these in the oven and bake them for 8 to 10 minutes until they're nice and golden brown on the outside, and then I'm gonna brush them with some melted butter. And then we're gonna have them with our egg gravy. All right, lovelies, I'll see you in a little bit when these are all baked up. Biscuits are ready. That's so hot. Wow, look at those gorgeous biscuits. Wow, that's hot. Look at those layers on the side, like how they lift it up. Yeah, those look beautiful. We got hot biscuits, we got butter. Got a brush, and then we're gonna do this. So that's gonna soften the crumb, but also give it tons of flavor. So we have very hot biscuits. We're gonna just let these cool for a minute while we make our egg gravy, which is the whole reason why we made these biscuits, right? Alrighty. In my skillet, I'm going to add some whole milk. And I'm just gonna reserve a tiny little bit for mixing my eggs with. So we're gonna bring this up to a boil. So gonna grab 2 beautiful eggs. Aren't they gorgeous? Love that color. Take 1 egg here. This is from a Buff Orpington chicken, and this is from an Olive Egger. Okay, and to that, we're adding all-purpose flour. Bloop. Alrighty, whisking this up. It's kind of like a thick scrambled egg with that flour in there. And once the milk is hot, we're going to whisk the egg in. So this is a really clever way to stretch protein out so it can feed a lot of mouths. You've got some milk here, you've got just a couple eggs, and you can just make a sauce rather than cooking up an individual egg per person. So now I'm seeing some steam come up off the surface of the milk, and now I'm gonna add the eggs. And I'm gonna whisk constantly while I'm doing this because I don't wanna scramble the eggs. Look at that beautiful yellow color it lends to it all. I'm gonna scrape this down because we wanna get all of that in there. So that contained our flour too, which in this case is going to be our thickener. Look, it's already thickened up. Incredible. So while I'm doing that, I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. And we're just gonna cook this until it's nice and thick, like a gravy. So I don't think we have to worry about curdling at this point. I shouldn't say that because I'm gonna jinx myself. But I did lower the heat a little bit so as to avoid scrambling the eggs. Okay, I'm gonna add a lot of black pepper because I feel like that's a crucial seasoning and I love black pepper. Oh yes, I see it coming to a boil. I see it blub blub blubbing. Ah, the smell of fresh cracked black pepper is so good. I think we're just about there. Let me show you the consistency with a spoon. Yeah, look at that. See that? We taste it for salt. Definitely needs more salt. Has a nice creamy, milky quality to it. Nice and peppery, and a touch of egg flavor. It tastes like a custard almost, but not sweet. Interesting. Look how thick it is. Thicker than coating with spoon, look at that. All right. It looks very similar to a southern white type of gravy, except that has a nice yellow tinge to it. See that? On camera it looks a little more beige, but it's definitely yellow. So let's assemble our egg gravy. We're gonna take a beautiful biscuit. Look at that. Golden brown on the top. Look at the sides. So great. Okay, ready to open this? Let's open it up. It's so flaky, it's gonna come apart. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. Now we're gonna take our gorgeous sauce. Ooh, it's thickened up quite a bit. Whoa. This is quite thick now. So just turning off the heat and allowing it to sit for a minute has thickened it a good deal. Look. Right there. Alrighty, lovelies. There it is. Egg gravy on a homemade biscuit. Let's give it a taste. I'm tempted to pick it up, but I'm going to use a fork instead. Itadakimasu. Homemade biscuits are such a treat. Warm, buttery, flaky, salty. Let's just try some on my fork here. The egg gravy definitely has an eggy taste to it. It tastes a little bit like scrambled eggs. If you've ever had French style scrambled eggs, which are very, very soft in consistency, it tastes like that because it's very milky and enriched and smooth. So of course the texture is very different. This is much more sauce-like rather than being scrambled eggs. And it is very different than southern type gravy. It doesn't have any sausage flavor or that toasted roux flavor at all, or just milk. It definitely tastes of eggs. Very interesting. I think this would be fantastic with sausage or bacon. Or made with bacon grease. It would give it that facet of smoky meatiness that I associate with scrambled eggs and breakfast, but a very hearty, humble, and tasty meal that you can feed a lot of people with just a couple eggs and some milk. Oh, and a good amount of flour. Alrighty, my lovelies, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please check out the Hard Times playlist where I test out recipes from times of hardship, and like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo. Take care. Bye. Let me just try a biscuit by itself. Here we go. Fluffy, salty, light, and buttery. Delicious. It's a biscuit.